A black billionaire couple walks into an ultra-luxury store on Madison Avenue and gets thrown out by a security guard who didn't recognize them. What happened next shook all of New York and redefined what justice looks like when silence speaks louder than revenge. Before we start the story, comment below where in the world you are watching from today, and if you like the story, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss future stories like this one. It was one of those early spring mornings in New York when the wind carried a chill, but the sun promised warmth. Madison Avenue buzzed with life: limousines, doormen, tourists with cameras, and shoppers eager to flaunt gold cards. Among them walked a couple dressed in elegance so quiet, it screamed wealth. Langston and Zariah King weren't just any power couple. They were the black billionaire duo reshaping real estate, tech, and philanthropy across America. Langston, 41, was a self-made investor with a mind sharper than Wall Street's greed. Zariah, 38, was the founder of Rise Up, a fashion tech platform that blended African roots with futuristic design. Together, they owned 5 penthouses across the globe, but that day, they wanted to visit a new high-end boutique rumored to carry rare, one-of-a-kind luxury accessories. Their chauffeur dropped them in front of Maison Vert, a store so exclusive that even celebrities posted invitations online just to flex they'd been allowed inside. It had floor-to-ceiling glass windows, guarded by a man who looked like he'd been hired more for his muscles than his manners. As Langston opened the door for Zariah, the guard shifted his weight and blocked the entrance. "Stores closed for browsing today," he said, not even looking them in the eye. Zariah's eyes narrowed slightly. "We have an appointment," she said calmly, holding up her phone, where an email from the store manager gleamed. The guard snorted. "Sure you do. No walk-ins. Try somewhere else." Langston stepped forward. "You're mistaken. We were invited. I suggest you step aside." The guard scoffed. "No offense, but you two might want to try something more in your range. We cater to exclusive clientele." Zariah blinked, stunned. "Excuse me?" A few people walking by stopped. A middle-aged white woman with a small dog was ushered in without question, right behind them. The guard smiled and tipped his head to her. The Kings were still outside. Langston's voice lowered. "Dangerous now. You're making a serious mistake. I'm doing my job. Leave before I call security," the guard said. Zariah's cheeks flushed, not with shame, but fury. She turned, her stilettos clicking on the sidewalk, and Langston followed without another word. They entered their car, silence thick between them. Inside, Langston pulled out his phone and made one call. "Leon, I need you to acquire something for me." "Maison Vert." "Yes. The entire building." Zariah turned to him slowly. "You're buying the building?" Langston didn't look up. "I'm buying the street." The next morning, the city was buzzing. News hadn't broken yet, but behind the scenes, lawyers were already moving. Langston's team had acquired not only the building that housed Maison Vert but also 3 adjacent properties. The transaction went through a private investment group. No one knew the Kings were behind it yet. Zariah, meanwhile, was crafting her response, not in words, but in action. She posted a single photo on her personal Instagram, a close-up of the boutique's glass doors with the words "Some doors aren't worth opening." No tags. No location. No explanation. Within hours, it went viral. Comments flooded in. "What happened? Sis, spill. The shade is glass clear." But Zariah stayed silent. Let curiosity build. That evening, Maison Vert's manager, Celeste Moreau, received a mysterious call. The lease was being bought out. They had 30 days to vacate. "What? No, this is impossible. We just renewed for 5 years," she cried. "It's legal," the voice on the line said. "Terms were met. The building has new ownership." She hung up in shock, pacing the marble floors she'd ruled over like a queen. Outside, the same guard leaned against the door, unaware of the tidal wave about to hit. 2 weeks later, Maison Vert's sleek signage came down. In its place, workers began installing a new storefront, elegant, bold, wrapped in black velvet tarps that hid what was coming. Rumors flew. Was it a Tom Ford flagship? A secret Chanel concept store? Meanwhile, Zariah was busy. She curated a new luxury pop-up, a fashion and tech fusion like no one had seen. It wasn't just clothing. It was storytelling. Each piece told a tale of heritage, struggle, triumph. The fabrics came from Ghana, the beadwork from Kenya, the software interface from engineers in Brooklyn. She named it Kingdom. Langston handled the logistics. Zariah made it shine. Opening day arrived. The velvet came down. People gasped. Kingdom stood tall, regal, designed in obsidian black with golden trims. There were no mannequins, only holograms of black men and women, walking with pride, smiling, styled in the collection. The line stretched around the block. Cameras flashed. Media arrived. Then came the moment that would break the internet. Zariah and Langston stepped out of a matte black Rolls-Royce in matching ivory suits. Not loud. Not flashy. Just power, unapologetic and earned. As they approached the entrance, the very same security guard who once turned them away was now dressed in Kingdom's new uniform. He looked up, eyes wide in recognition. Langston offered a calm nod. The man swallowed hard, stepping aside without a word. Inside, every luxury piece sold out in hours. Celebrities raved. Fashion editors cried. Zariah's name trended for 3 days straight. Still, neither of them addressed what had happened. But justice doesn't always come in courtrooms. Sometimes, it arrives as a signature on a deed. Sometimes, it comes wrapped in silence so loud, the whole world hears it. A week later, Zariah was invited to speak at a business summit at Columbia University. Her topic? What power looks like. She walked to the podium in the same heels she wore that morning outside Maison Vert. I was once told I wasn't the right kind of customer. That I didn't belong somewhere. So instead of proving I did, I built a place where we belong. Thunderous applause erupted. At the back of the room sat a quiet young woman, tears in her eyes. She later approached Zariah. My mom worked at that store. She quit after what happened to you. She said watching Kingdom rise gave her hope. Zariah embraced her. This kingdom was always meant for us, she whispered. Within a month, Kingdom became the heartbeat of Madison Avenue. More than a store, it was a symbol. A reclaiming of space. Influencers, CEOs, rappers, actors, even politicians, lined up to be part of the movement. Every customer was greeted like royalty. Every product came with a card that read, "You belong." But the world still didn't know who owned the land beneath Kingdom. That changed one quiet Tuesday morning. The New York Times broke the headline, "Greater than Black billionaire couple silently acquired Madison Avenue property after being racially profiled, and turned IT into a cultural landmark." The article told the entire story. From the guard's cold dismissal to the private acquisition. From humiliation to empire. Reporters tracked down the original store manager, who refused to comment. The former guard, now visibly remorseful, admitted in an interview, "I thought I was just doing my job. I didn't know who they were. But that doesn't excuse anything. I was wrong." Langston didn't retaliate. He didn't sue or drag anyone through court. He simply gave the man a second chance, by keeping him employed. "Let people grow," he told the press. "We've already won." On the same day the article dropped, Zariah launched a scholarship under Kingdom's brand, the Gatekeepers Fund, for young black designers, entrepreneurs, and technologists. Fully funded for 10 years. Open to all, but with priority to those from underserved communities. Social media exploded. Hashtag the Kings rise, hashtag Kingdom on Madison, hashtag you belong. The Kings were everywhere, Forbes, Vogue, Time. But they remained calm, never boastful. They had done what few could, turned rejection into royalty, pain into purpose. Months later, on a rainy afternoon, Zariah visited the boutique alone. It was quiet between the waves of customers. She walked through the space slowly, touching fabrics, nodding at the staff. She paused in front of the entrance. Through the glass, she saw a young couple, black, well-dressed, laughing as they looked at their phones. When they approached the door, a greeter welcomed them in with a wide smile. Zariah exhaled. This was the justice she wanted. Not just revenge. Restoration. Representation. Respect. Outside, the rain slowed. A beam of light broke through the clouds, reflecting off the golden lettering etched across Kingdom's doors. "You tried to shut us out. So we built the whole house."